9 പേരല്ലേ ഉള്ളൂ. That's just 9.
വേറെ ആരും ഇല്ല.
As we start, more people will come. That's a normal procedure,
People join and they join more on the YouTube comfortably. We have it on the YouTube.
Last
Then
time
record
also.
it. Ushaji recording start.
I think we'll just start.
We'll just start introduction, I think, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Just 1 minute. 1 minute. Yes, Jamila, you can start.
Greetings to all the All India Women's Conference members who have joined us from Kerala and from other different parts of the country. I'm sure that more of you will be listening to this on our YouTube channel. So a warm greeting to all of you who will be joining us later as well. Today we have our fifth presentation under the series, Achievers and Trailblazers, Women Taking Untrodden Career Paths. This series actually was started as a way to get members to advise young girls in their families and communities to make the right career choices according to their interests and their attitudes. The topic that we have today is PSUs, Best of Both Worlds. And I was a little confused about PSU. So I looked up and had two possible readings for that. And that was the power supply unit. It could also mean the passenger service unit, which essentially relates to what happens on board the flight, like switching on lights and calling up the air hostess and things like that. But I think today Renuka is going to talk to us about the power supply unit. She has been part of the Regional Aviation Department of the Indian Oil Corporation Ltd. She headed the Regional Aviation Department. And congratulations to you, Renuka, for being the first lady refueling officer and first lady to hold charge of an aviation fuel station for India Oil. As an employee of the Indian Oil Corporation, she has traveled extensively and has worked in various disciplines with a comprehensive understanding of Indian petroleum operations and aviation. She has mentored newly joined probationary officers, and I understand one of them has joined us here from Puducherry, who is one of her men whom she has mentored. And she has also been not only mentoring newly joined probationary officers and freshers in aviation and other operation fields and quality control. She has a career which highlights, as I said, the first lady refueling officer for Indian Oil in 1986. And from 1994 to 1998, she was at the Indian Oil Institute of Petroleum Management, and later in 2001 for the retail workforce, field sales officer, dealers, and retail business heads. She holds a BA Economics from the Government Women's College of some of us here are also students, and we share that common ground of and being proud of being mentored in the Government Women's College with so many prestigious teachers who really molded us to occupy various positions. This brief introduction about her is only a very brief icing, I would say, on what she is going to tell us today, because I know her rich experience of so many years in the aviation department must have enriched her, and I'm glad that she is here to share her experiences with us today. Even as I welcome her, when I heard the word aviation, the first thing that came to my mind was the Wright brothers who invented the first mechanism to fly high in the sky. No one perhaps imagined that the aviation industry would grow into such an industry which has become an indispensable part of our daily lives. We continue, if communication is fast through networks, travel has also become very fast with different aviation systems and units. It is not just what we are doing now. If you go back a few centuries, one is reminded of the Greek mythical figure Icarus. And this mythical figure is associated with flying with wings. Flying with wings of the feathers of the birds that his father and he collected in the prison. Greek mythology tells us that Icarus and Daedalus were imprisoned because his father was not able to satisfy the king of that time, the king Mentos of Crete, and therefore he put both the son and the father in prison. And while they were there, because Daedalus was a master architect and a craftsman, he started collecting the feathers of all the birds that flew into the prison and then waxed them all together, put it on his boy's two shoulders. And I told him, don't fly too high or too low. And if you fly too high, the sun will melt the wax and you will fall into the sea. And if you fly too low, the sea has the humidity, which will make your wings soggy and you will also land up in the sea. But unfortunately, as with all youngsters, Icarus flew very high and the wax on his wings began to melt and he fell into the sea. Now that sea today is called the Icarian Sea and it is near the island of Icaria. So there's a lot of mythology, there's a lot of there's stories and narratives that come to mind when we think about flying. There's so many accidents that have occurred, so many people who have lost their lives when flying high up, like Icarus. That was only one lone figure who lost his life in the sea. So many, like the Kanishka tragedies, and so many other tragedies where the flights have gone missing. But I'm sure that the people who work behind the scenes, the aviation department, seeing to it that the aircraft has all the safety precautions and is well maintained, they are the people whom we should salute, because even in spite of these accidents, people travel and so many people need to travel. And that need is satisfied by the aviation industry. And being a part of the aviation industry, I must say Renuka has played a very seminal role in every, now when I fly any time, I would certainly remember Renuka, because I know that somewhere behind is Renuka and her team who once kept the aviation industry strong and flying. So with these introductory remarks and with a very warm welcome to Renuka to the AIWC, I would request Renuka now to make her presentation. And I'm sure this is a trailblazing lecture that she is going to give us. Thank you.
One small clarification before that, Jamila. By PSU, we meant public sector undertaking. So since IOC, Indian Oil, yes.
Public sector.
Public sector undertaking.
Yeah, but it had two other meanings because
Yes,
it was
yes.
very close to the aviation industry.
And I also welcome Mrs. Kuljit Kaur, President of AIWC, who has joined from Delhi. Welcome, Kuljit. So over to you, Renuka. Please start your presentation.
First of all, thank you so much for this opportunity, Usha ma'am, Kamini teacher, Jamila Begum ma'am, for such a lovely introduction. I feel like Icarus. I'm really flying close to the sun. Kuljit ma'am ji, thank you so much for being here, all of you.
Most welcome.
Thank you so much for being here. Let me straight away launch into my 2 bits on public sector and what it has meant to me. Oh dear. Give me just a minute. I'm not able.
Yeah.
find the file. Are we on?
Yes. Can you see? No, your slide hasn't come in yet.
Okay. Trying again. Why not sharing it?
Yeah, just click on the share as you did just now. Yes, it is coming now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's it.
But
Yes.
go back one slide more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, so good evening,
Okay,
everybody,
go ahead.
once more. Sorry about that little glitch. So let me tell you about my own Indian Oil Corporation. This is an organization, a public sector undertaking, which I chose to join 1986, February 17th was the exact day. I remember I resigned from FACT, Udyoga Mandal, also a public sector, but I felt at the time it was more focused within Kerala, Kochi. Of course, they have marketing offices outside of Kerala, but somehow I thought fertilizers to oil, the power sector, marketing sector was more my forte. I was trained in QSAT, MBA, General Management is what we call ourselves. So I thought marketing, Indian Oil Marketing had given the advertisement. I had written the test and the results came through about maybe 2 months after I joined FACT. So I requested FACT and they let me go. In a public sector organization, especially those days when you join, we have a bond. FACT said 2 years training and 5 years you work with us. Indian Oil had a much lower bond period, 1 year as training, it was management training position, and 3 years as officer you had to work with them. But it all worked out well because the Indian Oil management is very, very quick on making sense of the whole thing. The idea was that I was bound to work for a public sector for 7 years, and they said, so be it. You work with us, I execute an addendum to the Indian Oil bond, and the deal was signed. I joined in Chennai, Madras, those days we used to call it. Yes, it was Chennai, and having joined there, I came to know that this is the largest oil and gas company in the country. Okay, public sector, that was the only one. There was BPC, HPC, and Indian Oil. It was a much smaller company. When I joined, there were about 10,000 employees, of which there must have been 3,500 executives, officers. I was there right at the bottom of the rung as a management trainee. I had a princely sum of 1,200 rupees as a stipend and 400 rupees as living allowance, which was, I thought that's it. I'm made for life. Okay, so such was the time then. It was a time when things were today. I mean, 500 rupees, it won't buy me a book. Anyway, this was the way it was. And today, look how we have grown. Features in the global Fortune 500 ever since 1996. And in 2025, we are 127 on the global Fortune 500 list. Business World has ranked us at #1 Indian companies. And we are a very valuable global brand. We call it the Energy of India, a Maharatna company. What is a Maharatna company? We were declared a Maharatna company in 2023. That is actually after I retired. Maharatna company has a whole lot of independence in decision making. Has a lot of independence in decision making. Earlier, we were a Navratna, one of the 7 Navratna companies, where also there's independence. But today, with the transformation happening, huge projects can be taken up by Indian Oil, even though the majority shareholder is the government. That is the point of a public sector undertaking. 51% is with the government, and the rest is put in by Indian Oil and its shareholders. I'm also a shareholder of the company. And once the decision making is done through an independent board made up by Indian Oil's operating executives, things move much faster than in the government sector. This is the first main gain of a public sector undertaking, which is neither here nor there. You might say neither here or there, but it works just as the private sector does. This is the best part of it. So there's a whole gamut of businesses that we are in of importance. Refining. Once the crude oil comes into the country, comes into the ports, usually they are shipped. If you do not explore and bring out the crude from the oil wells, we have a few of those. We bring in product, we buy the product from across the seas, refine it, transport it through pipelines. We have a division for that. It comes to the marketing divisions. From there, it moves into my gamut of operations. Marketing was the division into which I joined. You must remember, when I talk about refining and pipeline, these are equally large sectors of Indian Oil. We have 10 refineries Indian Oil has, and there too, there's a huge number of people working. As many as 10,000 must be working there as well. Maybe in pipelines, we have another 7,000 in that transportation division. And R&D, research and development, is very important. Then you have people working on exploration and production of crude oil and gas. Gas is marketed, alternative energy sources, and the whole lot of downstream operations have now been globalized. But if you look at the third point here, marketing, this is where I was working. The company where I joined was 10,000 strong at that time. Today, we are about 31,000 strong. What do we do? After refining, the refined 1.4 million barrels a day, okay, are pushed to the marketing installations of Indian Oil. We had one at Veli, we had one. We have huge ones at Kochi, Devangunti. Across the country, we have about 80 or 90 major storage terminals from where it moves the fuel. It could be retail petroleum, it could be kerosene, it could be my own aviation turbine fuel. All of this moves to the various points where they are used. For instance, petrol pumps. You know that we have petrol pumps. Right opposite your home, there will be a petrol pump. It could be BPC, HPC, or Indian Oil. But what is important to note is that we have hospitality arrangements. For instance, Bharat Petroleum has a petrol refinery in Kochi. Okay, Indian Oil does not. The hospitality at Kochi is provided by Bharat Petroleum. There is no cross movement of product. In Chennai, I have CPCL. I give Bharat Petroleum pumps their product. You get the point. There's a lot of give and take. Of course, there are price points, but the point is that each of these petroleum companies in the public sector, we have Bharat Petroleum, we have Indian Oil, we have Hindustan Petroleum. We work together as a unit. And that is what is ordained by virtue of being a public sector company. We have LPG. 28 plus lakh customers are given delivery at home. And here I come in again, refueling sector, 2,800 aircraft. Give or take, it depends on the, COVID time we crashed because the number of flights coming into the country, the number of flights the airline operators were allowed to operate, all of this went down sharply, except for defense, where we had to make sure that defense was fully able to move across borders at any point. Most of the domestic airlines went into a very difficult state. So as we speak, a crude oil carrier is being unloaded by the Indian Oil staff, the refineries people, and all this road work, we are to blame. We are the ones who make sure that the heavy bitumen tar is provided to the roads and bridges organizations. So very pictorial, I've tried to, it's much the same thing. We have an export footprint in addition to the product which our 10 refineries bring in. Touch points are the petrol pumps, which you see on all our roads. These are the LPG cylinders. I'm showing you a picture of a vehicle which takes a large number of LPG bottles right into those hilly areas where Normally, we cannot even walk. It is so high. The access points are very, very difficult. This is actually a modified Bolero. Trucks cannot go to this height, not to approach customers. Because of the height, only few cylinders are moved at a time. LPG is pressurized. So at those heights, things can be very difficult. Then here we are again, aviation refueling. Okay, this is the area I came into. It's not that, I actually chanced upon it, because when I joined Indian Oil, as every other youngster who joins Indian Oil, you are introduced into the system saying that you have to go into an operating location. What is an operating location? First, a location which stores petroleum fuels, such as petrol, diesel, kerosene. These are the main three products stored. And when you go there, you see what is happening, the preparation of product to move across the country. You also find a few places where you have aviation turbine fuel. And this fascinated me because those products were much cleaner, clean and bright. You have to make sure that there's absolutely not any particle, not water, not dirt. So these separate tank farms are very neatly maintained, so one pays more attention to them. Those are the terminals and depots I went to. They're called terminals and depots. Then we went to LPG bottling units. Those places smell. They smell of mercaptan sulfur. Mercaptan sulfur is introduced into liquefied petroleum gas so that in case of a leak, the smell is strong. Okay, so in case you smell something from a gas cylinder, it's not the petroleum gas. That is absolutely odorless. Mercaptan sulfur has a stink, and that is what is introduced. And you smell it all across the bottling plant. Thousands of bottles of, by bottles, I mean 14.2 metal cylinders, rattling, the smell. I thought, please let me not opt for this place. Okay. So it happened I was doing pretty well. So when I was asked for what is my choice of location for posting initially after my training, I said aviation, easy one. So they said, no, there are no ladies in aviation. So I said, try me. How will you manage, ma'am? I said, I'll manage because there are people working in the field and let me try it. This is what I'd like to do. You ask me a choice, please honor my choice. So this is how I chanced upon aviation. So, and you must remember, I told you about gender in Indian Oil. Today, we are talking about 22% ladies in leadership roles. Those days, leadership roles, there were five or six people, forget the percentage, 5 or 6 ladies. I remember meeting them, Manjusha Bhatnagar in corporate office, and Madam Rachel from Kerala, she was in finance. Just a few years senior, but they already were handling major roles in terminals and depots or in a regional role. But nobody was in the head office those days. Anyway, I got into aviation refueling, and this is literally what I was doing. Aviation refueling is an operation by which aviation fuel is delivered through a specific system into an aircraft tank under controlled conditions of pressure, flow rates, meeting quality control and safety requirements. It is a very, very simple operation. The only thing is to be right on top of quality. How do you maintain quality? You take the product out from the lowest point in a clean glass bottle, 1 liter. Okay? You swirl it. If there's water, it will settle at the bottom. There will be no water because a whole lot of officers and staff are working, ensuring that there is absolutely no ingress of water. Fuel is pumped through filtration systems, which capture even an ounce, 15 particles per liter of water. Not more than that can go through. And that is almost not visible to the human eye. Okay. This is taken in a glass bottle from the lowest point of the refueler. When you check it, the top portion, you drain it into a 100 ml bottle. And there you put an Aquadis capsule, which is basically a water detecting device. And the water detecting device will immediately turn pink if there is water. So this is my basic job. Once this is done, you start pumping into the aircraft, maybe 20,000 liters, maybe 5,000 liters, maybe 200 liters. But the job is to give that fuel and withdraw after getting a signature from the authorized signatory of the customer. I am an authorized signatory for Indian Oil, and they are authorized signatories for the customer. This is ordained by the Director General of Civil Aviation. It's a simple task, but the job starts at 6 in the morning. Locations are tough. You may, today we say, separate toilets for lady officers. Nothing. There was nothing like that. Only thing is, I noted that throughout my initial years, initially I was very, agile and moving around. But during my pregnancy, I noted, for instance, the toilet is always neat as one thing. It's not neat. Kaise ho gaya? Years later, when I met my colleagues, after they retired, they said, didn't you know, each time you go out for fueling, we tell that boy, go and scrub it clean. Okay, because when ma'am comes back, she's got morning sickness and I don't want to see her struggle. So they were so sweet, my male colleagues. There was one female and so many guys. Okay, they were so sweet about it. They quietly integrated me into the system. And then, of course, I became a tough, ordained Indian Oil aviation specialist. So I did 2 tenures, once in Bangalore and the second one in Begumpet, Hyderabad. Okay. And by Bangalore airport, I mean HAL airport. There was a tiny little airport in the center of Bangalore. Now, though, it is far away from the city. But those days, I used to take my two-wheeler, and from HAL third stage, I'd bike down to HAL airport. It used to take me exactly 10 minutes. But it was a challenge. There were times, but there were also the good times. For instance, these are the kind of things which, you cannot even imagine. A water cannon salute for a new airline customer. So a new airline customer, say Etihad when they came in, or when Jet Airways initially came in, each airport they go to, whatever time it is, 2 fire hydrants stand by and they give them a water cannon. It's an amazing sight, especially if you are going to handle their fueling. I used to feel absolutely thrilled. I used to get goosebumps, Look at this vision out there. I'm standing in the dark. This is much, much later, 2021. Prior to my retirement, a customer came in. I was there to welcome them, and I took this photograph. Otherwise, it is very rarely that you're allowed to take photographs inside an airport. But not Bangalore, not HAL Bangalore, not inside Begumpet, because these are both defense stations. You might notice that some airports, when you land, you are told not to take photographs because they're defense stations. Not that many of us heed it, but this is a rule of thumb. So these are things which used to be fascinating me. And along with the work, which is of various natures, I also learned about these kind of welcoming gestures, the way aviation treats each customer, each airport treats Indian Oil. These are all things which fascinated me. Along the way, being the first in Indian Oil aviation, obviously, having been successful, I was also the first aviation fuel station in charge. I was given Trivandrum Airport in 2006. I had a 3-year tenure there. It was a tough time for me because my son was in the 10th standard. I had to move out of Bombay that year. I'll tell you more about that. But 2006 to 9 was a dream come true. The people there, my staff, the blue collar workers are very, very tough normally to deal with. But because virtually I was so fascinated by aviation. 2, I had done pretty well. 3, I was proud of my Trivandrum. They treated me like a homecoming queen, So it was a wonderful feeling. And these are the kind of honors that we give to the company, we give to the country. 6 times that those 2 years I was able to raise the flag, unfurl the flag. And each of these occasions, we would have some kind of momentous ceremony. Here I have a colleague standing with his daughter. Vaishali had got very good marks in 10th standard. So we were giving her awards. Indian Oil believes in taking care of the employee and their children. We give children awards which are useful to them and will encourage them to move forward in life. So a lot of here, I think the man in the orange shirt standing there in the center, he is the union representative. He is not in uniform, which means he has come from an off day. He has come to make sure that the station's Independence Day celebration goes well. Okay, so 2006 to 2009, I was here. When I went back, I was offered Mumbai. It is one of the largest airports in the country. I was actually stationed at Santa Cruz, the domestic terminal. I was in charge of domestic. But when the Sahar AFS international in charge goes on leave, I used to take over. I used to officiate. Okay, so here I am raising the flag at Sahar also. So these are things which really, made me proud to be part of Indian Oil. And remember, each station, every location in Indian Oil, we have this tradition, this parampara. Every government office has this. So being part of the Indian companies, all of us do this. But those days, it was much rarer than it is now. Today, we are all allowed to raise the flag. Every Indian citizen is allowed to. But those days, it was not so. And I thought it was a great thing. It was a great honor to me to be able to honor the Indian flag and raise it or unfurl it, depending on the occasion. So I have been talking about Indian Oil Aviation. So let me just take you quickly through what I really did in aviation, because it is not that I could stay in aviation all the time. It is only that by virtue of expertise, I gravitated back to Indian Oil Aviation. In the first 8 years, all I did was aviation refueling. Towards the end, of course, I was senior enough to run a shift. I would have 2 or 3 shift officers. I would run the shift, which means you receive the product along with your team, make sure that it's stored properly, you sell it to your customers, you make sure that you give the correct customers your fuel, and you bill it at the correct pricing. And at the end of the day, when you close your shift or close your day's operations, you should not have a loss-making operation. And there are many ways in which you can make a loss by not receiving product properly. The tank trucks which bring you product is very often the guys try to fool around with you. So we actually go on top and dip those. You put in a dip rod and check what is the length of the dip rod, and any shortage you book it. And there will be a lot of crying, madam, in the madri, panna venda, the and all will happen. But you book whatever is fair. Then you can have a refueler meter which is not functioning properly. We are supposed to, and we do, get the meter calibrated with the weights and measures inspectorate. Legal metrology comes in. Each meter is calibrated. And every 3 months, we check. We prove that the measures are calibrated. Otherwise, Indian Oil loses. And we know that towards the end of 3 months, if you have not done a proper job, we know because losses start escalating. You're not able to trace why. But it's time that, better redo the job or call legal metrology and have the job done again. Then the third reason why we can have losses is that you actually have an overflow. This is the nightmare. Someone's not watching, the pumps are running and someone's not watching the operation, something can go wrong. So while blue-collar workers are also equally responsible, the shift in charge is on full alert during those 8 hours. There's no way you can let it go, because if a refueler overflow or a tank overflow happens, a tank is 500 kiloliters. So it's 500,000 liters of fuel. If overflow happens, I won't be able to pay for it. Even if they charge sheet me and sack me, they'll never get the money back. So it's a matter of great, what do you call, not resilience. You have to be alert and you have to be responsible. Okay. After 94, I went to Delhi. I think my husband went to Delhi in 1993, and I hadn't said anything, but while the appraisal process was going on, I said, may I speak? They said, what is it? Delhi, possible? I said, Delhi, you won't get aviation. Everybody wants aviation there. It's in the center of city, Palam. And yeah, in between, there was also a tenure in retail sales. I was pushed to retail sales in 93. I have missed that out. Sorry, ma'am. In retail sales, I was given the, can you believe it, Medak district. So when I landed up there, my hair was a little longer. And they say, Arey, Indira Gandhi ma'am has turned up, because, you know, she had that. This was one of her constituencies during those elections in that year. And I was given some horrible customers who did not want to buy from Indian Oil simply because we had not been alert earlier. It's a very small area for retail sales. Retail sales is what all the officers want to deal with the retail dealer, because the dealer takes care of everything. If I go there, he gives me food, he gives me biryani. If I go to Siddipet, that man, the dealer was very, very kind. He said, Madam, aap ghar aaya karo. You can not only use the toilet facilities, BV will give me nice biryani. I said, Arey sab, I've come for your inspection. He said, nay, ma'am, don't do anything. Don't go out and eat. Next door is Warangal. It's an Naxalite district. I used to say, look, I've brought my own idli sambar. I'm South Indian, pure South Indian. I'm going to eat that. And once you show me a real increase in retail sale, I will have biryani. And I had biryani at his home once, just before I was leaving, because he actually turned tables and gave me a very good result. Okay. But along with that, we had a lot of consumers. MRF was a customer there. MRF is a big name, but MRF refused to buy product. I think there was a rubber process oil. Not to be phased, I used to report there. Plant opens at 8 o'clock. 7:45, I used to go and sit there. It's about 60 kilometers out on the Hyderabad-Bombay highway. So I used to get out at 6:30, pack my idli sambar and go and sit there. After some time, the plant manager, he got so irritated. He says, what is this lady sitting there every day? I told you not to entertain her. So the purchase manager said, I think she wants a rubber process oil. She wants to sell to us. So no, nothing doing. After 2 weeks, he let me in and I got the sale. Okay. So sometimes it's just a turn of events, you know, that persistence pays. This is what I found out. And I am persistent, if nothing else. Anyway, 1993, I asked for transfer. My husband had already gone. They said, Madam, you hold on for some more time. I said, "Theek hai." But they gave me training and development in Northern Region, 1994 to 1998. That is the time I worked with the Indian Oil Institute of Petroleum Management. Again, quite by chance. This institute had been inaugurated, but there were some glitches. Some approvals were not given to operate it as a full-blown training institute, but we had rooms there. We had huge training halls there, and all the Northern Region training programs were moved there in the year 1996. So 2 years, I had a very comfortable place to work in. 4 large training halls. It is a dream for any training professional. And we used to bring people, transport faculty from all over the larger Delhi area. We used to run huge training sessions. We used to run, probationary officers used to come in there. We had finance officers joining from the Chartered Institute of Chartered Accountants. It was the first time Indian Oil was recruiting direct from the institute. And one of those officers is today the Director of Finance of Indian Oil. It's a very proud moment to have someone so young and so competent. And I know, Arey, Pankaj, I've trained this boy, you know, Pankaj Jain. It was an amazing time. I said, how could this boy go ahead so fast? Because he is brilliant, was brilliant, is brilliant. Okay. So Indian Oil gives that kind of a chance. I'm telling you, a person who joined Indian Oil in 1996. How many years is that? 2006, 16, 2024, 25. In just about 30 years, the man is a public sector undertakings director. These are the amazing things about a public sector undertaking. If you're very good, very competent, and develop a large competence with people and finance, sky's the limit. Okay. So that was my training and tenure. And immediately after that, I came to Bombay, where in human resources, I was able to work on areas of recruitment, placement, appraisals, right up to 2002, where again I came back to the retail development team for 3 or 4 years. I worked there. And there my expertise was not aviation, but they used my training experience. We had a huge capability building initiative where petrol pump attendants at 1,000 retail outlets across India were trained on aspects of quality, safety, housekeeping, and customer service. And we used, by then, we all very competent on Excel. Those days, Excel had just come in. So we started plotting the whole thing in Excel, which petrol pump, who's doing well. And there was a clear indicator that moment the petrol pump improves on these 4 parameters, where the attendants actually go out and do these tasks, improve the forefront maintenance, improve their customer service, make sure that their safety standards are good, petrol pump sales were zooming. So once this was proven, the same initiative was extended to another 2,000 or 3,000 petrol pumps. That was called a quality and quantity initiative. And soon after that, I went back. 2006, you know what happens? After 8 years in the same city, we have this policy, same city. No officer may work in the same city for more than 8 years. I think they gave me about 9 years there, lady officer and all that. But that's it. They said, next year you're going and you're going to a tough location. They sent me to Trivandrum AFS. Let me tell you, believe you me, Trivandrum AFS was not a tough location. I did not tell them then. Only reason it was tough was because it is a in-charge position. That means you're a factory manager. You are responsible not only to the chairman of Indian Oil Corporation, but you're also responsible to the factories department. Okay, everything it is like any other factory situation. But it was a dream time for me. I was home. I was able to take care of my son during his 10th standard. I didn't. My mother, a poor lady, she took care of him and made sure he passed with good marks. And after that, I went back. I told you earlier, I was raising the flag in Mumbai AFS, domestic and international. And because my international customer relations was pretty good, they took me to head office aviation, where what they do is, you are working now on price points. I don't fix the price, but the pricing for Indian Oil is always government regulated. You have the price of product when it comes to the port. From there on, it is cost build-up, refining cost, marketing cost, aviation terminal cost, things like that. So you negotiate with the customer. You say, okay, you don't tell them the cost. Everybody knows what is the cost at Indian ports. Okay, Bombay cost. Plus, you say 2 cents per gallon for Bombay or 3 cents per gallon for Trivandrum and so on. It all builds up, to a fairly large sum. And the more efficient you are, the lower your plus. If you give 2 cents per gallon, it's a very efficient cost. But in Trivandrum, if I give 3 cents per gallon, I'll run into loss. But sometimes, depending on the customer, you trade off. See, for Emirates, we'll say, okay, Trivandrum, they'll give you 3 cents. You have only 2 flights here. But at Bombay, you have 10 flights. Make sure that I have this 2.5 cents per gallon extra. So that's when I learned about pricing. And, it is important to know that all of this we were told during our initial training. Okay. None of it went into my head till I had actually to sit before the table and go through that Excel sheet and, so this is what it is all about. So our training is very, very good, very detailed, extremely good. Sometimes, poor fool me, I did not understand it. But by 2014, I knew this is what needs to be done. So having worked on all that, now you are ready to operate certain seats, certain posts on your own. They sent me to Western Regional Aviation after head office. You might think it's a demotion, but no. At this point, now you're being geared to run the region. Okay. I went to Western Region, and many of the customers are common because I used to meet them at international fora. Now I'm meeting them in the field. I go to Nagpur, I meet a certain set of customers, maybe domestic, maybe international, and we are talking face to face. There was one dirty task though. You have to also collect funds. Now, collecting funds from airlines such as Jet Airways, that used to be very, very difficult. Indian Oil does not give credit. Okay. So, so you have to make friends with them, and finally you have to ask these friends for money. And it's not a joke, because Air India we had to take money from. And in those years, Air India was going through a very difficult time. Yet, all we used to do is that, we would be told that there is a letter of credit in your hand. You have to march there every day, sit there and say, you give me the money. Otherwise, which letter of credit am I allowed to encash? Okay. You don't do it because, you're talking to the director of finance of, not the director of finance, but the director of finance's team. And Hejmati ji will be walking around and say, Renuka fir se aaye. Kya? I said, sir, you have to give me the money. Otherwise, we have to issue a stop refueling order. I cannot give credit. He says, I know, we'll do something. Ab chinta mat kar. 7:30, we'll get up and go back on an agreement that by tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, we meet at the bank and the money will be deposited. 10 o'clock, banks open, right? So that kind of thing. So those were the kind of situations. We also had to make sure that new aviation terminals were instituted. And these were the challenges at region. Okay. Equipment maintenance is all done at location. So by then, regional officers don't take care of it. Make sure all of this happens. We go out for inspections. And yeah, now you see on my screen, Southern region. Why Southern region? Because if you look at the dates, you'll find again, another 8 years has gone by. So it's the same 8-year rule has hit, and I go to Southern region. 2 years in Southern region, similar post where you're actually taking care of supervising the work of 25-30 aviation fuel stations in the south, which includes by now not only pricing, but also collection and worse still, reconciliation. Reconciliation is done not only with customers of such as Air India and all the small customers. Indigos also come up. There was Kingfisher, that fiasco was going on. Indian Oil lost not a penny because we are very, very clear on no credit. Okay. There's also another very difficult area, collecting money from the defense. The defense doesn't give money just like that. You go to each location, you have handed in all your bills. At the end of it all, you go to the Controller General of Defense Accounts. You prove that this money has not been given, reconciliation. So this has also come into my kitty by the time I come to Southern region, right? So, and 18th of March 2020, I transferred back to Western region. And if you'll remember, that is the time when COVID hit. I landed up in Bombay. I had 2 dogs with me. I drove back, halted at Kolhapur, Bangalore, Kolhapur. I came to Bombay, started, unpack my bags, and I said, tomorrow I won't go to office. I'm too tired. But my maid turned up to see that things are all right. I said, "Theek hai, you take care of the dogs, khana idhar hai," things like that. I went. The next day, COVID hit, lockdown. Okay. So if I had not joined, I would have sat there because you could not get out of the house. Okay. And COVID hitting was a very, very terrible time. As all of you know, just as you were locked into the houses, so were so many people at so many stations. There were people in stations who had to be moved out. There were customers who had their aircraft stranded abroad. So all of this gradually, as the air opened, we were associated with that. So the defense, we worked with in great detail to bring back people. We were all given those yellow stickers, put it on your car. And by April, we were moving. I used to go to office once a week, if I remember. One person used to go to office from each department. So yeah, these were all the travails, public sector. We had a lot of good times, but the tough times we used to work with government. That is what I remember the most. And to go on to there are places I'll really remember. I went to Vizag to speak to the Controller General Defense Aviation because I could not make any anything out of their defense accounts. I had to collect funds. So this guy said, "Madam, these guys are working on it. Meanwhile, would you like to visit the submarine?" So here I am. I was kicked beyond, imagination. But the fact is, when I got back, the entire defense account was also kept ready. So I could sign off and go back, dreaming of the submarine I had a chance to go to. The travel took me to Prague International Aviation Transport Association conference at Prague, by which time I'm already crazy about photography. So I had a good time there. Early morning, 5 o'clock, I take a cab and go to this Charles Bridge and take photographs. This, of course, was an official function. I think the Praha, the team there who ran the organization, took us out on a tour in the evening. We had dinner and drinks on the boat. Here we are at 2017 IATA conference at St. Petersburg. There was also one at Hanoi, by which time I was totally crazy about photography. There are no photographs of me, only locations there. And that was 2017, the second unit. After that, we take turns. One or the other persons goes along, because what we do at these conferences is not just fun and games. Negotiations happen with various customers. So all these papers, the officer going along, and I was the junior officer there. The negotiation is led by the executive director. I was the general manager then, and I would, generally hang around and make sure that his files are in place, and he had sufficient paper to negotiate. And what did I say about negotiation? Plus 2 cents, plus 3.5 cents. That's the way they negotiate on landed prices at Bombay. Right? What else? By which time, because again, by virtue of my being the first in aviation, a lot of fuel maintenance awards came out. The Indian Women Pilots Association, whom we worked with very closely, they instituted some awards because Indian Oil works so closely with them across all stations. On the right is a picture. I'm with my team, ladies from Juhu AFS in Bombay. I was given the trophy. It still sits at home. It's a personal trophy which they give persons who have worked in the field, the ladies, obviously. And for those of you who are interested in this tough job, look out for newspaper advertisements. The site we host is iocl.com. You go to the tab Indian Oil for You, Indian Oil for Carriers, look at the carriers and the latest job openings. Today, we only go through this mode. Anyone who wants to join Indian Oil, these are all executive carriers. Very few white collar or blue collar posts are now advertised. With the announcement of the apprenticeship post by Government of India, we only take apprentice for non-executive posts. So on registration, shortlisted candidates are invited for a test or a job interview, depending on the job requirements. So I did rush through. Sorry about that. But if there are any doubts, something you'd like to know, because it was these were operations I was deeply involved in. So when I talk about it, I still get goosebumps.
Yeah.
Thank you, Renuka, for that very, very interesting presentation. And you all feel very proud of you, that in spite of so many challenges that you had to face, you still came out successful. I think that is what makes...
Hey, that's the kind of grooming I had. No, never say die.
But the one question that I had before I open it up for the discussion. You did a BA in economics, then you had already completed your management before you got this job. What were your interests at that time? Did you know that you were going to, or you wanted to do something like this, or you just chanced into seeing an advertisement and you chanced into this profession?
Yeah. Let me put it this way. There was a gamut of opportunities. I do remember I did that UPSC. I did the first. No, I didn't appear for that because I'd gone for the SBI test, which is also probationary officers. I didn't make it. Okay. Then my mother said, if you're going for preliminary or all, do some study, huh? So I had not studied. So I did not do the UPSC test. But along the way, I had started looking for these, having done the MBA, that was a competitive test. I started doing entrance tests. I told you FACT I did, I got through. And the third exam I wrote was actually Indian Oil. But that year, there were no takers. See, even then, it was not so easy for people to understand. Once you understand it's all about oil sector, it's not very easy. That year from northern region, I remember there were about 70 people. But in my batch, in southern region, there were only 8. Of that, 6 remained in Indian Oil. And we had one more team joining about 2 months later. Of that, there were 7 there and only 3 remained. Okay. So those were difficult times for people to actually take up a job like that. But when I went to Indian Oil, no, this was it. I was, this is a management. I understood it's all about management. And I would have nothing to do with general management till I grew in the organization. Because as you read the policies, they're all very well written. I understood very clearly that I have to go through these operations. Without this operating locations and working with blue collar workmen, which is what most of us don't like to, giving an order, they don't listen to you. Okay, nobody goes on strike, but both are once I leave, I could hear galis behind me. Madam fir se aaya, she told me. I said, how does it matter? We have to do the job, you and I. No, what is the point shouting and saying I'm sleepy? If you're sleepy, I'll go. And I took a refueler and went once to there. They were aghast. They said, Madam, you don't have a license. I said, if you don't go, what will I do? I'm not going to delay that flight. And you will understand, Kamini ma'am is probably able to understand. I am a tomboy then and now, no? If you tell me,
yeah, very much. That's what I want to tell right now.
I will do it. So for me, it was a dream come true, I can climb up any tank, 500 KL tank. How many people in this country will get to do this? Okay. And my friends would say that, oh, ho, this is, her job. The pilot will say 20,000. Just like you tell in a petrol pump. Instead of saying 20 he will say 20 Okay. So I said, what is your problem? I can go inside the airport. Can you? I have a pass. I can walk in whenever I want. Okay, so don't give me all this. So I enjoyed it. It was by chance, but for me, it was the perfect chance. And over a period of time, once people knew that I had gone through this storm and I was able to come out unharmed, I went into management cadre. I was able to, there are a lot of rotations, and each one I enjoyed more than the last. Nothing, I didn't see any point in being cowed down. I was pregnant, working in the airport, and no, you're wearing uniform, you're so round in the belly, and people say you have become fat. Take care. So I'm fat, you go. I mean, what do I do? I'll come back less fat in a few months.
I think we have the AIWC President Kuljit ji with us today. So I would like her to unmute and perhaps say a few words.
Thanks, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, Jamila ji, for giving me this opportunity. It's a wonderful story. And I would say that it was a very challenging job. She has really broken the barriers and broken the glass ceiling. The way she has come out so successfully, despite her pregnancy, despite men all around, she broke those barriers and came out so successfully, getting so many awards. All the new type of work at new destination, that was a challenge for her. But she faced the challenge, and it is a success story for all the women who want to be empowered. For women empowerment, it's a lovely story. It is an example how the women can also break all the barriers and come out successfully. Thank you so much, Renuka ji, for sharing your experience. I think all of us, we have learned a lot about the challenges you have faced, since you were the first women in aviation. Before you, there was no one.
Exactly.
You had all the problems, all the challenges, the toilets, pregnancies, men around. I can understand the difficulties you must have faced. So congratulations on behalf of AIWC, and really very challenging, very inspiring and motivating story you have narrated to all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kuljit ji.
Renuka, can you stop sharing screen, please?
Oh yeah, I just
Yeah.
Kamini wanted to say something?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I never knew I never knew that such a sorry, chirpy, tomboyish girl could take up such responsibilities. I'm so proud of you, Renuka. Really?
thank you so
I
much.
think there's a lot
Thank
to
you,
do with
teacher.
the BA economics you did in our college too, isn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
I
Yes.
used to remember our college with a lot of affection. And it shows that you're also a strict person. I like that in you. Though you were tomboyish, I never knew you were a strict person. Now that you show that you are a strict person, I really appreciate your personality. I think more than anything, I think that thing in you that I want to do the best.
Yeah.
That has always been in you, isn't it? In your
Yeah.
student days too.
I'm a little pig-headed actually.
So
If the guy can do it, I'll say that, I can do it
definitely
even better.
that attitude is needed for anyone to succeed, I think. And with such a rich experience you had, really lot of what is it, bitter experiences too you must have had. You were happy in your job. That is what is needed at the end of the day, isn't it? And
Yep.
you had so much of confidence in you. That is what is most important. But I never knew you were a sambar idli person like me.
No, it's safe. It's safe.
I
That
know.
is the point. See, even if you carry it for 3 hours, nothing goes wrong with
Yeah.
sambar idli or even chutney.
Or
Nothing
kolagu
goes
podi,
wrong.
or chili powder. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally
Nothing goes wrong, which is why you have idli, na?
Yeah.
That is the point of it.
Even I used to carry in all the travels. I used to have idli
Ah.
and not chamani, that podi, that powder.
Supposing the dealer doesn't give you food, no, you better have this. Otherwise, that is the point of it.
So very good. Best wishes to you, okay? And
Thank
I want
you.
you to be more active in AIWC. Okay?
I will. I'm sorry if I've been backing out, but
Next
definitely
month, all
I'll
our
do my
meetings.
best.
Okay, best wishes. Thank you. Jamila, thank you.
And Renuka, I would like to say that after listening to you, one can feel that you really enjoyed your job.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes, I did. Yes.
A lot of satisfaction that you got out of it.
Absolutely.
Yes, Boneshri wants to say something, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Renuka ji. Very good information. We got very good information.
Yeah.
And if there's anyone who'd like to get into a job like Internet, do ask them to be in touch with me also, because today it's not so easy. You have to be watching those. Most of the kids now don't read the newspapers. So if someone shows it to them, they might. But you have to finally get into the IOCL site and register yourself. I just saw that some posts closed now, and mostly they take engineers now.
Okay.
Those days, there were a lot of management posts. Okay, so that was it. Now, engineers in the refineries division, for instance, there are many more ladies. Our refineries director, 2 years back, Shukla Mistry, she has retired now. This was a lady in refineries who grew all the way to refineries director post in a PSU. She was the first. Of course, I think ONGC had one earlier, HR, but here was a technologist who became a director. She was the first lady technologist, refinery. She's run a refinery, Barauni, and then she became a director. Very, very strong on, there's no question of strict and all in that. This is technology, policy, implementation, new projects. Shukla is that kind of a person. So in those posts, technology posts, there are a lot more. They run refineries. They run refinery shifts. It is a lot more than what we do in marketing. Marketing is basically we are ordinary folk. We deal with ordinary people. These people are actually handling equipment, which is, most of it is tonnage. Okay, steel, equipment, pipeline accesses. Those are real heroes. I mean, because when you meet them and see the places they work, they have extremely posh facilities. Okay, because they have huge refinery positions, and the refineries will be 10 times larger than all our flats. Okay, but those are really critical positions. Mine, you can remove and Renuka put someone in, but you couldn't remove Shukla at that point because she was running the damn refinery. Sorry.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Before
Good
we
evening.
move to you, Boneshwari, we have a couple of messages here. Let me just read that out and then we'll come to you. We have Sahil Sharma who says, good afternoon. This is Sahil from Human Touch Foundation, Greater Noida branch. Then Ria says, good afternoon, everyone. This side Ria from Human Touch Foundation NGO, Greater Noida. Harsha Markin says, good afternoon, Mumbai branch. Dr. Monica says, good afternoon. I got to know of this through Lelita ma'am, who forwarded me the link. Madhurendra Kumar says, also from Human Touch Foundation, says, good afternoon. Kriti says, good afternoon from Human Touch. Dr. Monica says, I'm an alumni of School of Management Studies 1983. My brother retired as Chief General Manager, Internal Audit.
Oh, what was his name?
Listen to you who went through unique challenges.
Oh, name she hasn't told. I think, no?
Yeah, her brother's name she hasn't said, but this is Dr. Monica who says that. Dr. Vasanthi Ramesh says, oh my God, hats off to you, ma'am. With your roller coaster career and diverse experience, you delivered a wonderful session filled with fun and informative insights, even about your food habits, sticking to sambar and idlis. It was truly a delightful session.
Monica, her brother's name.
Matthew says, I'm Dr. Lelita from Kochi. Your talk was content rich and I enjoyed immensely. Harsha Merchant again says, hearty congratulations to you for such a comprehensive, interesting and meaningful talk. Thanks to Trivandrum branch for organizing the talk on National Science Day and in the near future, International Women's Day. Lelita Matthew says, ma'am, can you please come again on FACT connection? I myself lived for 30 years in FACT township.
Get
My
your number.
The civil in FACT. Dr. Monica says, thank you all. And Oma says, proud of you, Renu madam. Your journey shows us that when one person has the courage to step forward, a path becomes possible for others. Hearty congratulations, madam. And Dr. Monica says, MV Anthony is the name of my brother.
Okay.
Would you like to respond, Renuka, to those messages?
Actually, I don't think I've met Mr. Anthony. But you see, again, the point is, people in refineries, I never know. There's internal audit there as well. See, it's not, there's internal audit in pipelines also. So it's a jungle out there. So maybe if I, could I get these people's number, the FACT, as well as Monica's, ma'am's, Dr. Monica's number? I'd love to, get in touch, talk to them and find out more. You never know. Usha ma'am, would it be possible to share sometime?
Yeah,
yes, definitely do.
Even Renuka, my brother-in-law was in Indian Oil in Delhi.
Are their parent there? What's the name?
M.R. Gera.
Sorry?
M.R. Gera, General Manager.
Gera. Okay. Indian Oil, Delhi is again.
Yes, he was in Delhi.
Okay, I'll also, I'd like to take numbers and, talk.
So he's no more now.
Oh, I'm so sorry. But even so, to know more about him and, the other day I met someone from Indian Oil, refineries, a person who had left and gone to Kuwait Oil Company, and immediately I perked up because my father worked there. And I was talking to him and he said, this person from Anand from Kuwait Oil Company, his father was at Kuwait Oil Company, would you know him? And I said, I'll talk to them and find out. And that night I get a call and they say, no, I knew KP Nair uncle. I remember him. He's a little younger than me, this Anand. And can you imagine, I went to Kochi and met them and I remember his father very well. When I saw the photos, Ponnamma auntie, and it's amazing. If you talk to people, you find out connections from 40, 50 years back. It's amazing. No, 60.
Yeah, the world is small.
World is so.
Bhuneshwari.
Thank you, Jamila ji. Thank you. Actually, Madam Renuka ji, I really loved the way you spoke about your job and experience. I mean, I could feel the passion with which you would have done that time, So really wonderful. And we can all make out that you have enjoyed your job. That's what I wanted to first of all say. And when you spoke of the Maharatna, I was taken to another world, 2006 to 2008. I was in charge of another Maharatna, BHEL.
Oh, yes.
Whereas IOC was with the Ministry of Petroleum. This BHEL is with heavy industry. So I was
Okay.
the undersecretary for the
Okay.
BHEL. You know, the chairman's appointments and directors' appointments.
Yes. You would know exactly how it all goes. I think Indian Oil got a Maharatna status probably around 2023. I'm not sure.
Yeah, earlier this was Navaratna.
Navratna status.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that is one thing. And when today, when we were thinking of this topic, I was wondering when you started talking about it, IOC and aviation.
Yeah.
Suddenly, that connection we could make out very clearly now. So whenever, like Jamila ji said, you know, we'll think of you when we see the
When you
fueling
walk the aero bridges, you will find
Yeah.
the Indian Oil Rhino, a symbol of excellence.
That will
You'll remember
definitely
that.
see.
You'll see my refuelers there.
Yeah,
You know,
actually, I'll just be brief. I have written down several points, but I'll just, for the sake of time, you know, I'll just say two or three things which struck me. Like the three PSUs you said in the petroleum are working in unison or cooperation. That's a very good thing, you know, because normally the PSUs are always in competition. When I was with BHEL and NTPC all the time competing with each other. So it's a real good thing that these three petroleum PSUs are working in unison and cooperating. That's a very good thing. And then you talk about the water cannon salute. That rare photo we could see, thanks to you. Thank you very much. We could see that.
welcome.
And of course, as you say, at the trainings, we hardly understand. Theoretical knowledge we assimilate, but only when it comes to practically, you know, when you're this, then only you can understand what it actually. Then we get back to the training times.
Correct.
Oh,
Yes.
this is what it's meant,
Recording.
like that. So all these things, I'm really very impressed. Thank you so much for giving us so much
You're
of
welcome.
knowledge. And
Thank you for the opportunity.
I think
yeah.
Usha Menon wants to say something. I see her hand up.
Good evening to all. Good evening, ma'am.
Yes.
Really, ma'am, it was a wonderful presentation.
Thank you. Thank
You
you.
could see so many old visuals of IOC. Near my house, there was one Burma Shell IOC storage. I
Burma
remember
Shell.
Burma Shell,
Burma
ma'am.
Shell.
Well, big storage near the railway station. I remember that in my school days and all, we used
Where was it?
it is in Palghat district, Kerala.
Palghat, okay.
Palghat, yes, ma'am. There's so many memories. Your inspiring talk, ma'am. Really, it is
Childhood.
very motivational to us. And my cousin is also there in IUC. He was in Noida, Sanjay
Okay.
Kumar. He was in Bhubaneswar. He's settled in Trivandrum now.
Oh, I met Sanjay the other day. He sings.
He's my cousin, ma'am.
Okay. So good.
My father's brother's son. Yes. Then Sheila Nair is also there, ma'am. She's an engineering graduate. She's also settled in Sheila Nair. She's also
where
from
is she?
Trivandrum.
But where is she?
Sheila.
She's
She's in
not here.
Delhi now. Delhi now. She was in Faridabad or something like that, transferred to Punjab or something.
I know
But now
Sheila.
again,
Of course, I know Sheila.
She's settled in Delhi only.
Not Sheila.
I know
Sheila
her
Nair.
very well.
Sheila.
Sheila. She is my family friend.
Okay.
Sheila. Then thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you for your inspirational speech.
Thank you. Thank you for listening and to AWC for giving me this opportunity. I enjoyed.
Dr. Monica had her hand up. Would you like to unmute and talk, Dr. Monica?
Thank you all.
ജമീല ജി
Yes.
എനിക്കൊരു കാര്യം ചോദിക്കണമായിരുന്നു.
Go ahead.
It's not connected with this today's topic about the fashion show or something which she was mentioning.
Yeah. She's going to organize, she said, no?
Because it's not, I'm interested because I'm in the music group.
Oh,
so
okay. Areda, I'm not able to make out.
Padmini, she's Padmini.
My name is Padmini.
Okay,
Very active member of
ചെറുതായിട്ടൊന്ന് ബ്രീഫ് ചെയ്താൽ കൊള്ളായിരുന്നു. Fashion parade or whatever.
Fashion parade, I think on 11th of March, we are to have a fashion parade, alumni. So If you're interested or you know people who will participate. See, a lot of organizers, I am ready to organize. I might not walk the ramp, but I want participants, and I don't want my age group. I want older, I want younger. So it has to be a broad base. About 10, 15 people will be very nice.
You still haven't got anybody?
So Padmini Chechi, if you are interested, please give your name to Renuka.
കഴിഞ്ഞ
And we'll see
തവണത്തെ
you walk the
ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു.
ramp.
കഴിഞ്ഞ
എന്നാ നമ്പർ തരണം എനിക്ക്. നമ്പർ തരും, ഉടനെ തന്നാ ഞാൻ വിളിക്കാം കുറച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട്.
Please give the number, Chechi.
ഇപ്പൊ തരാനോ? ഇപ്പൊ തരാനാണോ?
Yeah, we're all noting it down.
And
830
830
10
10
82
82
600.
600. I'll call you in just a while. If you don't mind.
Padmini. I'm Padmini.
ഞാൻ വിളിക്കാം. Thank you.
Ushaji,
Anyone else
Beenaji
coming
is
to
there.
Trivandrum for the fashion show? Anyone, anywhere in the country?
Because I was not here. I was not here.
Ushaji?
I don't know.
Ushaji,
Yeah.
Beenaji is joined.
We'll
No,
be
Beena
there to
Jain,
see
madam.
it, but will not participate. Maybe we'll be there to see you
Yeah,
all walk the
see.
ramp.
Let us know the time. Okay. Let
Yeah,
us know.
I also, we have to be allotted. Time has to be allotted. That's the only thing.
Ayo.
Yeah, Beenaji, would you like to say something? Yeah, Mrs. Beena Jain is our patron. She has joined from Delhi, but I think she has joined a little late. Probably she missed the presentation and she joined when the interactions were going on. Are you still there?
Beenaji, you there?
Yanchi, will you please unmute? You want to say something?
Beena ma'am, please unmute.
And Usha Menon is from our Palakkad branch. She retired from Doordarshan. She spoke just now, Usha Menon.
Okay. I'll talk to Sanjay ji about this contact, and I'll take your number from. It's so nice to, there are 7 degrees of separation, Parayana. It's so true.
I know.
Okay,
And
ma'am.
I wanted to ask you one thing, Renuka.
Tell me.
You mentioned that when you joined, there were very few ladies at the top level in Indian Oil. What is
There
the
were very
situation
few.
now?
There were few ladies.
Yeah, what is the situation now?
Much better in various leadership roles. We have. The director HR is a lady. The board of directors. Earlier there was Sukla. She retired a year before last. I remember. Younger than me. At 60 you retire. And now there's this lady. I forget her name. I have never met her. She has been in and around the Delhi corporate office, refineries and whatnot. She'll have at least 3-4 years. She has been groomed for this, I think. And we plan at least 30% in senior posts and 50% in technical posts. It is possible. The point is, first you have to recruit and they have to want to stay. A lot of youngsters who join Indian Oil, male or female, do not stay. We've seen what is happening around us. Our young kids, they are so well taken care of. They don't need jobs. They want
Renuka, in terms of recruitment, I just wanted to know, like, is there any time frame? Like the civil service examinations, they have, if the advertisement comes at a particular month and then they have the examinations. Like that, is there any time frame?
Not really. Whenever there's see, the point is, recruitment itself is a huge cost. You have to take out people from the job. I remember moving on from head office HRD, and the interviews were done by retired Indian Oil executive directors. One person goes from head office with all the files of all the papers received. If the interview is in, say, Hyderabad, someone comes from Southern Region Human Resources and coordinates. And it's basically 2 rather junior. I was a manager then. I had about 15 years service. So I would go out with 2 retired engineers, Indian Oil executive directors, M.V. Katur Saab and Datta Saab, I think. We went there and they would run the interviews and we are tallying. Whatever they tell us, we tally. And with that, we used to do the hiring. Okay. Finally, that's put up to the board or the recruitment board and they would approve it. Even then, it was difficult. We didn't have the time. There is no time for recruitment. So much of work is going on. And then over a period of time, there were questions, why are retired officers being pulled into it? Things like that. I mean, you're doing it because of convenience. But which retired officer? Then finally, we went to gate scores. for a very long time, persons with high gate scores. Now that is also gone because gates, if you want 200 posts and you say top gate scores, you have a certain percentage. You say that you must have minimum 80 and you might have reservations or people are not turning up. Okay.
During my days, ma'am, I am also an engineering graduate. At that time, there were management trainees recruitment in IOC. We had exams during that time. For all PSUs, we had exams. Bharat Petroleum also, IOC, everything.
Yeah. I wrote the exam too. Later on, all that went and we were recruiting only engineers for a time. We wanted, we went to the Northeast. There was a Northeast batch. And yesterday I was looking at the promotion list. We have it on our retired officers. A lot of those kids are now GMs. One has become a chief general manager. We are growing them because otherwise they will not stay. And we have a lot of consultants we work with on various assignments. Of consultants.
They had transfers also, I think. Transfers also were there for them. So many transfers were also there.
Yeah, I was transferred from Bangalore to, we were able, my husband and I, we said, okay, he said, I have a possibility in Chennai and Hyderabad. I said, you go to Hyderabad because Chennai I'll never in a million years get. It is so tough. I can see people who want to go to Chennai from Bangalore. All of them want to go there, and in between, as a lady, I also pile in there. I will get my transfer, I'm sure. But they have been waiting for 2-3 years. So, and for me, it doesn't matter. I have no one in Chennai. I have no one in Hyderabad. If my husband goes there, it's easier for me to go to Hyderabad. Management can actually accommodate a request of a married lady officer. But Hyderabad, there are so many people who want to go there. Why would I join that rat race? Same thing, Delhi. Nobody from South wanted to go to Delhi. They have this. You're supposed to have inter-region. Management is supposed to integrate inter-region. So the moment I said, I'm there, they said, Jao, Renuka Gada, she wants to go. Go. So, but for me, it was an enjoyable experience. I hated the cold, but I learned a smattering of Hindi. People tell me, don't speak Hindi. That's not Hindi. That's their problem.
I think we have one more question coming up from Rekha.
Rekha
has
Sani.
unmuted and would like to
Rekha,
talk.
please continue.
Usha ji, it was really a truly exceptional session. We learned so many things. When we fly, we are hardly aware of all these things.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
water
and
check,
we are
water, aqueducts.
Absolutely. And we are so proud of you. To have worked in a field which is totally dominated by men, and hardly a handful of women know anything about this subject,
Oh.
So it was
absolutely. But after me, we have so many engineers who've taken over posts. They're doing. Dr. Monica, Dr. Monica, I think I know you here. You were my senior at SMS. Dr. Monica.
So Monica has left, I think.
Oh, I'm sure I know her. Somebody must give me a number. That name is familiar. I'm looking at it. But Dr. Monica, she must be a very erudite, scholarly person.
She is in Cochin. We can get her number. I can get
please.
her number.
Because I'm 84 batch. I was thinking there's something different. I should know about this. Anyway. See?
Anyway, Usha and I will get you the number.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I'll get it.
Yeah, really, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Rekha, for joining.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Renuka ji, that water detection process was also very interesting. We can never think that such a thing has to be done.
All such light was so good.
Such a simple thing, no? And people say, you got capsules carrying it around in your pocket with you. You have to carry it safer than everything. Because if it's already damp, you're finished. You can't sell fuel, no?
Yeah.
Next time we fly, we think of you, no?
Each and every slide was really wonderful.
Thank you so much, Rekha ma'am.
New things we could learn.
Pulchit wants to say something.
Now, every time we fly, we are
I
going
was
to think
saying
of
that
you.
every time we are going to fly, we are going to think about
Can you
Renuka.
imagine what happens? Can you imagine what happens to me when I fly? I'm, my eyes really well up. I miss all that.
Absolutely.
I think Pulchit wanted to say something.
Then I've said the same thing. No, I said whenever we fly now, we'll think about Renuka.
Yeah.
And I met so many pilots, at these Indian Women Pilots Association. I'm an honorary member there. They gave me such honor. They got award for fuel maintenance just because I was walking around with them. I said, "This is a joke." They said, "Nay, ma'am, you are also part of us." Like the first lady who manned a jet, Captain Saudamini Deshmukh. All of them. I'm receiving an award with her. Those were great moments. These are people who change Indian skies for the lady fraternity.
So there are no more questions. Can we wind up this session?
Okay.
So, yes. Thank you so much for Renuka for joining us on this platform.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Again and again from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah, it was a pleasure listening to you and knowing that from our own region, somebody has really done so many, I would say, challenging things. Not extraordinary, but very challenging.
It was an adventure par excellence.
Yes.
Actually, her talk was supposed to be in October. That has been postponed till February, actually. Isn't it, Renu? Yeah. Supposed to have a talk.
It was supposed to be a week or two before Usha ma'am told me. But I was going to Cochin. I needed to check some facts about the current situation. I had nothing. I was just sitting there thinking of Indian Oil. We have 31,000 officers, employees.
My God.
So it's an ocean out there and so much of work happening there.
Okay.
Right.
So
Bye. Thank you so much.
Be in touch about your passion show. Okay.
Yes, phone numbers and all that. Yeah. Okay.
Bye. Good night.
Bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
Thank you so much, Renuka, for joining us. And this series is called Achievers and Trailblazers. And I think that fits you perfectly.
Thank you.
Really,
I will be in touch with you regarding one more trailblazer, very young lady, not an AIWC member. I think it'll be a wonderful thing to see how people work and want change in their lives.
And especially, people like you, we could make out how passionate you are about your work and how you enjoyed your work. That is what came through very clearly.
I'm sure all of you did in your own line of work. Only thing is, mine was a little different in exposure, different fear. That's all. Look at Bhuvneshri ma'am, what she says, and all of you, the teachers amongst you, it can't be very much different.
No, but you were lucky to get a job which you really enjoyed. Not all are lucky in that manner.
Yeah, that's true.
And you did it to the best possible way, and that came through very clearly. So we were happy. That is why everybody enjoyed the talk, because
my father used to say, "Avalo avalde Indian Oil." Oh.
So I thank all of you. Special thanks to President Kuljit Kaur, Rekha from Bombay, and all others who have joined from different parts of the country. And we hope that we'll be bringing in one more achiever and trailblazer in the March session also. We have not yet finalized the name, but I'll let you know very soon. I hope all of you will join, and also please ask more of your youth wing members to join, because we want the young women to know what are the possibilities in different sectors.
Agreed.
And because the way she explained, I'm sure many would feel attracted to this sector and they'll try to go in there. And so I request all of you to please ask your youth wing members to join, and I'll be posting the YouTube link in our group. So share the YouTube link with your younger members. And with that, let us wind up this session. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jamila. Thank you, Kamini, Moneshwari, all of you who have been helping me to put this together. Thank you, Lalita Matthews. You have also joined from Cochin. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much, Usha.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is one more example that women, whatever they do with dedication.
Yes.
Isn't it?
So, we'll be bringing more achievers and trailblazers, Kuljit.
Yes, we'll be there.
For our future sessions. So thank you so much.
Do join us.
Thank you, Kuljit ji.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Renuka ma'am.
Thank you.